Welcome to Part B of Unit 1, Lesson 3. This is only one of three parts of this lesson, so if you've not watched the others, please make sure to do so. In this part of the lesson, we will be discussing the emergence of the New England colonies and the factors that religion played in allowing these colonies to grow. For the essential idea, the Northern or New England colonies were formed to allow some to practice their religion freely, but would often deny religious rights to others. For the essential question, I want you to think about the importance of religion in the formation of the colonies of New England. Back in England, there were two different groups that were dissatisfied with the Anglican Church. The first group, the Puritans, wanted a purer form of the church and wanted to purify their religion. The second group were the Separatists, who thought that the church was so bad that it could not be reformed from within, so the only way to fix it would be to create a new religion. One separatist group, the Pilgrims, traveled to America in 1620. The Pilgrim separatists left England in 1620 on a boat named the Mayflower, bound for Virginia, but were forced to land in what is present-day Massachusetts. Before they left the ship, the new settlers agreed to the Mayflower Compact, an agreement of government ruled by a simple majority vote of all the people, the first pure democratic government in the Americas, all while still being under the leadership of William Bradford. The Pilgrims suffered early, both by a plague that killed many and struggles to grow crops in the rough climate. After seeing many of the colonists struggle, the local natives, the Wampanoag tribe, taught the colonists how to use fish as fertilizer to help the crops grow. In 1621, after the first successful Pilgrim harvest, the colonists and the natives celebrated together, creating the basis for Thanksgiving. The Puritans would leave England 10 years after the Pilgrims, but they did so to escape legal issues. The Puritans would form the Massachusetts Bay Company, to which they would create a colony of the same name. The leader of that voyage, John Winthrop, wanted to create a colony that would be a model Christian society, claiming it would be a city upon a hill for others to look up to. The initial voyage started successfully, leading to a mass migration of Puritans to America in the following decades. As the Massachusetts Bay Colony grew, it would eventually absorb the much smaller Plymouth Colony, ultimately creating a single Massachusetts. The colony would become relatively large, with its main city of Boston becoming a major trading port, and eventually the birthplace of the Revolution. The government and church of the Massachusetts Bay Colony were technically different, but for all intents and purposes were the same thing. The court would be led by church members, and would pass laws that regulated moral behavior, such as making both music and dancing illegal, as well as using tax money to support the churches. As for the churches themselves, they would be led by members that had conversion experiences, or those who claimed to have met with God. The Puritans were extremely strict in terms of their religion and did not accept any individuals who challenged the church or committed heresy. One such heretic, Roger Williams, was banished from the colony for believing that non-church members should be given more rights. He would eventually help to found the new colony of Rhode Island that would allow for more religious freedom. Another heretic, a woman named Anne Hutchinson, would be banished for challenging the church leaders' authority. A large plot of land was located north of Massachusetts, which would eventually be split into two major English areas. New Hampshire would be added as a royal colony, a staked claim for the English government in New England. Maine would be considered part of Massachusetts. It would not gain its independence for nearly 200 years. Like Rhode Island, Connecticut was founded on the belief that the Massachusetts Bay Colony was too religiously strict. Connecticut would go further than Rhode Island, however, providing non-church members with the ability to participate in the government as well. Connecticut also held the distinction as the first colony to write its own constitution, a document known as the Fundamental Orders of Connecticut. Despite great relations at the beginnings with the natives, the northern colonies which would now be known as the New England colonies, began to treat the Wampanoag people more strictly. They pushed for the Indians to adopt English laws, English customs, and to convert to Christianity. The Wampanoag would refuse, similar to the natives' refusal to change in the encomienda system, which would lead to conflict. The conflict, known as King Philip's War, after the English name of the Wampanoag leader Metacomet, would begin in 1675. Villages and towns were destroyed on both sides, but colonists were responsible for the majority of the carnage, the destruction of many Indian villages, and the eventual death of King Philip himself. This would serve as a final large-scale stand by natives against New Englanders, but wouldn't be the final conflict by a long shot. Looking at the chart on the top left, the population of Native Americans would rapidly drop off as the white population rose. The black population was slowly rising in the lead up to the Revolution, where it would rise much faster afterwards. Overall, the New England colonies consisted of New Hampshire, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts. Three of those colonies had a strong basis of religion behind them. Both Maine and Plymouth did exist as well, but both would be considered part of Massachusetts by the turn of the Revolution. That concludes this lecture. If you've not finished the other parts of Lesson 3, please remember to do so by the end of the week. See you later.